The Bureau of Customs is tackling high-profile cases, from the luxury car collection of the Discaya family to smuggled cigarettes, vape products, and online shipments. With billions in imports, smuggling operations, and critical public revenue under the lens, how is the Bureau of Customs ensuring efficiency and trust in its operation? Joining us is the Bureau of Customs spokesperson, Attorney Vincent Philip Maronilla. Good morning, Attorney Jet.
Good morning, Attorney Karen, and good morning to your viewers.
So let's start with the very highly controversial luxury car collection of the Discaya family. What triggered the probe into the Discaya family's collection of luxury cars?
Well, of course, they're the subject of a controversy now, and left and right, we've been receiving copies of the video, and of course, we can't just ignore it. So we endorsed the video to our investigation division for them to just look at it, see what we can get out of it, and we were able to identify certain imported luxury vehicles. So that triggered an inquiry with the Bureau of Customs. So we're now coordinating first with the Land Transportation Office to be able to identify these vehicles that are named under the Discayas, or at least their companies. And then when we get that, we'll have to counter-check it with our system and see if there were compliances in terms of payment of duties and taxes, the proper processes undertaken, and the like.
Mhm. Well, yung interview po where this video of cars were shown, this one was recently last year. Pero merong mga older ones with other journalists. Bakit hindi po to nakita or napansin ng Bureau of Customs before? I mean, for the collection to have grown to about 40 cars. Bakit may nakakalusot po?
Number one, privately owned naman kasi talaga, no? And basing from their profile during those times, it seemed that they were engaged in a legitimate business. So we find no reason during that time to look into it. But again, if you look at the combination of things now, there are allegations that there might have been fraudulent practices. Maybe not with the Bureau, but with some other government agencies, of course. That would trigger a suspicion on our part that maybe a same scheme, or there might have been some fraud that might have been committed also in terms of owning or importing these particular motor vehicles. And it would be prudent for the Bureau to just look into them. We're not judging them at this point yet. We're not saying they did anything wrong, but what we're saying is that there's reason enough for us to look into their ownership and, of course, the manner of importation of these vehicles.
Common po ba talaga na luxury vehicles ang isa sa mga nasa-smuggle into the Philippines?
Yes, kasi mas malaki yung profit sa kanya, no? And most of the time, these luxury vehicles, we don't have a local dealer. Or the local dealer sells a variant which is lower than the variant that they want. No? Some owners of luxury cars would want full options, or some other options to be provided together with their vehicles, and they're only able to find it abroad. No, they cannot find it with local dealers.
Yeah. But it's okay to want something na wala dito sa Pilipinas. Pero ang importante is bayaran yung tamang taxes. But marami bang nakakalusot dito na pumapasok na luxury vehicles that underdeclare or don't pay the right taxes?
We've had series of checks naman. No? There are two ways where we actually do it. First, we do a what we call a service of a letter of authority for commercial establishment. No? That means we go there, visit, and then ask them for documentation, and then counter-check it with the Bureau. Second, we just do it quietly by way of a financial audit or post-clearance audit. No? So we send them an audit notification, look at their financial records, and of course the ownership of these vehicles. And then if there's deficiency, we charge them for additional payment of duties. But if there's fraud, that becomes more complicated because we have to seize that particular vehicle, and they'll have to prove that they're buyers in good faith or they're qualified to redeem such vehicles under a lawful program.
May mga nahuli na ba kayo in the past na luxury vehicles that didn't pay the right taxes or were just smuggled?
Yes, in fact, if you remember, there was a time we were even destroying them
Yeah.
instead of
yeah.
actually auctioning them off. No? So I think that's proof that there are really luxury vehicles. There are people who would still try to smuggle in luxury vehicles.
I asked Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno before when we had him here, ang customs chief natin, na kung totoo ba na usually mga politiko daw ang mahilig mag-smuggle ng luxury vehicles. He said narinig niya na yon and wala daw siyang sasantuhin. Sa inyo ba, are you ready to also do more inspections or find mga nagsismuggle ng luxury vehicles even if they are linked to politicians?
I think the direction of not just Commissioner Nepomuceno, but the President himself. No, I don't think there's preference to anyone. As long as you violate the law, I think ang utos naman ho ni President Bongbong at of course, yun din ang pinapatupad ni Commissioner Ariel, no, is that hulihin namin kung sino talaga yung nagkakamalan. We file cases against those who are doing something wrong. No? And I think the point here is that, di ba, kung yung maliliit nating kababayan, pag may ginagawa sila, they pay for it, di ba? Pinananagot. Dapat mas lalo na siguro yung mga malalaki nating negosyante o kaya let's say for example politicians because they have a moral and social responsibility to follow the law and set an example.
Nag-announce na si President Bongbong Marcos na ipapa-lifestyle check ang mga government officials and I suppose pati elected officials kasama na dito. What is the customs doing to be more proactive in catching those who are involved in smuggling?
Well, number one, we have intensified our profiling. There's a new team now in the Bureau of Customs, and these are composed of veteran intelligence officers, veteran enforcement officers. General Batan is there now at the helm of our enforcement group. He's a veteran police officer who knows his way around these things. Romy Rosales, who's been there with us, a career officer who knows customs intelligence very well. So there's and of course at the helm is Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno,
Who's a PMA
who was a PMA and who we know is very well respected in the intelligence community. So I think we don't want to overemphasize, but you know, in customs, intelligence is key. You know, it's profiling, intelligence work, and enforcement work. Really, if you would want to have a strong anti-smuggling program.
And yung isa pang nag-viral recently was the post of Belia Padilla calling out the Bureau of Customs and DHL dahil daw dun sa napakalaking fees na binayad niya for what she ordered online from abroad. Ano na po nangyari dito sa online tax calculator which the BOC took down momentarily to fix problems daw? But may naayos na po ba? And when are we going to have this back? Yung online tax collector,
yes,
calculator.
Yeah. Well, so the new Deputy Commissioner for our Management Information and Systems Technology Group, Attorney Revzi Escobedo, is looking into it now. No, he just assumed this office last week.
He used to be with the DepEd,
Yes,
right?
he used to be
Department
with
of Education.
he used to be with DepEd, and then he's very much keen on these things. So that's why I think the commissioner invited him into our team. So one of the main tasks is to be able to refine. Make that online calculator user-friendly, especially to laymen. Ang nangyari kasi doon, parang if you look at it, there are a lot of technicalities there that only brokers or practitioners in customs knows. So it's really susceptible for a layman to use it and make a mistake. Just like what Ms. Padilla was able to experience.
So yung nangyari po kay Belia Padilla, hindi niya yung paggamit niya, it didn't take into account other fees na napapatong that came from freight or kasi ito yung post niya na 4,600 pesos for a shipment that was worth 11,000 pesos. So yung sa calculator lang nakalagay 1,650 lang. So yung sa calculator dati, ano yung gaps that a lay person might miss? kaya nagkakaroon ng discrepancy na ganito?
I think number one, you should explain that 1,650 are duties. No? If you put in VAT and how it is computed, no, it will really lead down to about what she was charged with.
Which
no?
is 1,000.
Which is 4,000 something.
Oo, so
no?
1,650 is only
Duties.
duties.
So
And
if you add on about 12%
oo nga pala,
VAT,
may value-added tax
that's
pa kasi.
12%, yun ang malaki talaga eh.
Oo.
So
Yeah.
I think the value-added tax for that, when we showed her the breakdown of the computation, which is what was due to her was para mga 3,000 something. So that actually totaled it to about 4,000. The amount which she was complaining of, no. Ang mali lang ho talaga namin doon was that the calculator did not reflect that because hindi po cohesive yung manner ng kanyang pag-compute. Parang compartmentalized pa.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a need also to explain to the public through the use of that calculator kung paano talaga siya kinocompute. Kasi hindi naman ho simpleng yung value-added tax mo. Kung magkano yung bili mo, you just charge 12%, which for us, no, that would be the more logical conclusion. But by law, kailangan may add yung freight cost mo, insurance cost mo.
Oo nga.
And then
marami
there are
talaga.
bank charges if there are any. Maraming add-ons ho kasi doon sa batas. Eh. And I think that's why we need to make that calculator user-friendly. And we need also an explainer together with the usage of that calculator for the public to be educated, no? Paano po kinocompute yung taxes nila.
Kamusta na po yung mga issue naman sa scammers? Meron ba talagang mga scammers na nagbibiktima ng importers and online sellers na nagpapanggap na part sila ng Bureau of Customs?
A variety.
Marami.
Of which marami. In fact, if I remember it right, early this year and late last year, we did an entrapment operation. No? And this is, I think, one of the worst scams that we've experienced. Yung even foreigners were victims. No? So it's we
Maybe
call,
you can describe to us ano yung normal na ginagawa nila para people can be aware what to avoid or ano yung red flag to find out kung scammer pala.
well, number one, yung love scam. Yung, people still fall for that.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say, no. Magkakaroon ka ng Facebook friend that you don't know about. They'll build a relationship and tell you they'll send something for you because, you know, I mean, you might have some feelings for you already or you're very close friends. But that's just a scam. So if they send something, they send their airway bill and they'll tell you, may kaibigan ako dyan na mag-a-assist sa'yo para makuha mo yung package mo na may gantong pera at may gantong kagamitan, di ba? So ikaw naman, feeling mo may pera talagang pinadala doon because they'll produce a fake airway bill. And then when tapos yung sinabi nilang pinagkakatiwalaan nila, will get in touch with you and tell you, nako, naka-hold kay customs. Meron ka pa namang $100,000 doon.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like that.
And naniniwala talaga.
Maniniwala sila. Sabi
Oo.
nila, I think you just have to pay customs about 30,000 pesos para ma-release natin. And of course, 500,000 US dollars as against, di ba, 30,000 pesos, pangungutang eh. May ma-experience kami when they already complained to us na pinangutang pa nila yung pinambigay kunwari nila. And it's just really a scam. And after that, the guy disappears after getting everything. Ang pinaka-advice ho namin, these are usually through parcels, no? Meron ho kami sa website namin na tinatawag na Balikbayan Box and Parcel Tracker. If legitimate yung tracking number mo, you type it there, it will tell you nasaan siya, ano na yung process niya, kanino siya naka-hold.
Wow, nakakatuwa naman. May ganun na pala sa customs.
Yes. If you input the tracking number or the airway bill number there and the result would tell you no results, that's a red flag. That means walang ganung pinoproseso sa Bureau of Customs.
Okay, and you're cracking down on these scammers. May mga nahuli na po ba kayo?
Yes, meron na po kami mga entrapment operations na ginagawa dyan.
Yesterday, the Bureau of Customs seized 605 million pesos worth of illicit cigarettes in Bulacan. What does this say about the scale of smuggling cigarettes right now? Or normal ba to? Ganyan talaga?
The cigarette smuggling has gone up when excise taxes for cigarette has gone up also. You know that the trend in smuggling is that usually commodities with high taxes are the ones usually the most smuggled. So before, nung hindi pa pinapatupad yung train law, okay lang, no? We don't see a lot of cigarette smuggling. But when the train law and the other laws increasing significantly the excise taxes for cigarettes were passed, yan, it became that, no? So, isa sa mga malaking problem namin yan, no? Cigarette smuggling has been constant and has been increasing, no? In fact, no? There are attempts to really smuggle cigarettes because malaking kita eh.
Kasi last August 2022, meron ding halos 6 million pesos na nahuling smuggled cigarettes sa North Cotabato naman.
Yes.
And then sa Clark Airport, 8.2 million worth of vape products.
Yes.
Is that because also of the increase in
Yes.
taxes for vape?
True, because vape now, you have to pay excise taxes also for the pods, no? Maybe not for the machine, but for the pods. So that's one of the commodities now that's being smuggled, hand in hand with cigarettes.
And mga drugs naman, meron pa rin ba tayong problem sa smuggling of drugs? Because last August 19, the Bureau of Customs in NAIA was able to intercept 7 kilos of shabu.
Yes, in NAIA, that's still an issue, no? That's why apprehensions I don't wanna put NAIA lang, no? As the main gateway. All airports actually. Yan ang sinusubukan nilang pasukan ngayon, no? But we're very proud to say that our airports, at least the customs personnel in our airports, have a high apprehension rate, no? Because there's a interagency coordination team there, no? Together with PIDEA. And our profiling and our experience and our equipments there are advanced enough to be able to detect this. But I guess because mahigpit sa seaport namin, in fact, once in a while na lang kami nakakahuli doon at nahuhuli talaga namin, no? Ang issue ngayon namin is that based from our intelligence information and of course from recent apprehensions by other agencies, it seems like outright smuggling na yung ginagawa, no? Hindi na dinadaan sa mga ports natin or sa airports. These are being done through our open seas on open
Mga
waters.
parcel din, I mean packages.
Packages,
pinapasok
yes.
na.
Kung natatandaan niyo, Attorney Karen, no, there were reports that I think in Zambales or somewhere there were floating shipments there that were seized. Pagbukas nila, it was shabu.
Oo nga, parang mas naging brazen yung pagpapasok dito ng drugs.
No, actually, hindi siya brazen. I think they're finding ways, no, because mahigpit na nga sa ports, no,
So doon na
because
lang
of past
sa
experience.
mga legit delivery channels.
So they try to take advantage of our vast shoreline, diba? Because we're an archipelago, so they do that. It's we call it guerrilla operations, no. Palulutangin sa dagat, and then paggabi there's this mga small craft with night visions that gathers all this and put it in the shorelines.
Well, let's go back to airports. Bakit na-suspend ba talaga yung scanning sa airports?
Number one, we've yet to see the value of the scanning. No? We did not suspend your obligation to fill up the customs form through the e-travel system.
Yes.
No? In fact, you still do that before you arrive. No? What we suspended is that when you arrive, even when you've filled up already your e-travel, pipila ka pa para i-scan.
Scan na naman. Oh.
When in fact, when the commissioner reviewed it, he was able to find out that there are other ways for which the information can reach us without being a hassle to the passengers by way of making them fall in line and having them look for the QR code and then just scan it. No? Ang purpose lang naman ng scanning is to be able to look into the data, which were already submitted to us online. So if we do advanced profiling and we're able to coordinate well with the Immigration Bureau, we feel that there's no need to hassle our passengers more.
Well, dati po you told me meron ding x-ray yung sa baggage pag dumadating ka from any country tapos sa airport nasa scan or na x-ray yung mga baggage. Is that still ongoing right now?
Yes, exactly. So
yung carousel po ba yun?
sa ilalim ho ng carousel.
Meron
no?
yun,
Yes.
x-ray.
So even when that's a mandatory scanning before you're your bag actually reaches the carousel. So, dumadaan mo naman po lahat doon.
And how strict is the Bureau of
check-in.
Customs? Yung mga nag-uuwi, for example, ng alcohol products at inalagay sa luggage nila, yung ba, when you see something like that, papabuksan ba yan?
May tolerance kasi doon. I think I think that's also the information is also provided in our website kung ilan naman yung pwede mong dalhin. For example, I think for alcohol it's about 2 bottles, no. So if we find out na meron dalawang alak lang doon, as long as it's not a red flag for us, no. I mean some material.
Paano kung high value? Di ba dapat pag 10,000 and over, you should declare it? But
Doon sa mga
I suppose-
alcohol products, I think more ang naging agreement on more than the value, it's the volume now that's being there are
Sa bagay, you have to pick your battles,
Yes,
no?
there are
Kasi
items
kung lahat
where-
na lang sisitahin nyo,
yes,
then
there are
pagod-
items na parang volume na lang kami, not the value anymore, and I think that was agreed upon years back, no, and it was approved. It's an actual regulation, but of course there are items pag luxury goods talaga na it's a value
pag
issue.
nakita sa X-ray. Like, what are potential luxury value items na red flag sa Bureau of Customs?
Boxes ng watches. So that means that someone's carrying their watch. Magagaling yung mga nagpapalusot na gano'n. They bring in the box through the check-in baggage and then they use the
They use
the
it,
watch,
oo.
of course, pag nakita namin yung box, we'll just ask them, where's the watch?
Yeah. But the X-ray is just for the check-in luggage, di ba?
There's for the hand-carried one, you see naman, di ba, in the customs area, there's also an X-ray there. But that's the X-ray is conducted randomly, no, based on passenger profiling.
Well, with the controversy right now hounding the DPWH, na the perception has really gone bad with the corruption there. Yung Bureau of Customs dati, kayo yung isa sa mga top 3 agencies din na that's perceived to be corrupt. What is the BOC doing now to change that image?
Simple yung strategy ni Commissioner Nepomuceno. Transparency and digitalization. I think if we're like the online calculator, that's a transparency tool. We want that to be a success story. That's why we pulled it down, because that's a big transparency tool for us, no. Alam mo, 90% ng reklamo sa amin maliliit na parcels. 10% lang yung malalaki talaga. 90% of the complaint, when we broke it down, it's because of the small parcels. They don't understand how we tax, ano yung rule namin.
And basta malaki yung charge, binibintang na agad nila na
Yes, exactly.
pinaperahan sila ng Bureau of
Exactly,
Customs.
di ba? So, there's only one way of resolving that. That is to make the manner by which we tax and our rules as transparent as possible, as easy to understand as possible. That's why the Commissioner is making an effort. Now, for the big processes, kasi mga malalaking negosyante to, no? And these are really contributors to our economy. We want to make it easy for them to bring in the goods, and we want to make our rules very predictable, no? And of course, ang tagal nang sinasabi to, no human intervention if possible. So yung idea nga niya, no, it's not going to be like this, but the concept is like an ATM machine, sabi niya, di ba? You choose what you want, and it's the digital process who's going to do the processing for you. And everything else will just be checked back end. Why? Because ang trabaho lang naman dapat namin, tingnan muna namin kung may contraband o wala. If it's really just a tax issue, we can just have the shipment released first, and then let's talk about it, since confident naman kami na legitimate na negosyante itong mga to, and they won't escape their liability should there be any. So why hold their shipment? Which is important for their production.
Oo. And you're talking
For
about
their
those
inventory.
that import for retail and yung
Yes.
talagang sa trade, no?
Yes, yes.
Oo. But again, pag yung mga smugglers ng mga luxury vehicles or that's a separate issue.
Yes, that's an enforcement issue which we're addressing. No, the trade facilitation issue identifies our legitimate stakeholders, and of course, the commissioner wants to focus on how to make life better for them, how to the transactions, how to make it more transparent, and of course, easy for them.
Yeah, and no opportunity na mahingian din sila.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Assistant Commissioner Attorney Jet. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Karen, Attorney Karen.
From building railways that will connect millions of commuters to enforcing the law at our ports, much focus is needed on systems that would move the nation forward. Government has to eliminate corruption and red tape and breathe efficiency in its institutions. Only then can we achieve our goal, as a nation to catch up with our more prosperous ASEAN neighbors. Be timely informed, be insightful of the news. Always stay at the forefront. Join us again tomorrow for insights on issues that matter. This is Attorney Karen Jimeno. Thank you for spending your hour with us.